wanted to talk about this because of, just I'm not going to get into, the current rappers and all the stuff that they do. Uh, but I will talk about, just a way of growing up because here's one thing that bothers me. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot of unnecessary loss going on out here, especially with our young people, and they're promoting a lifestyle that it's very dangerous to actually everyone because people are getting caught up, in it. And but I'm not going to mention any names because I don't really want to get into it like that. I don't. I just want to talk about a perspective of the lifestyle that it is. Let's take snitching now, and I'm gonna look at my perspective. I'm not going to judge anybody else on what they do. I grew up in the hood. I'm from the hood, but I'm not from the streets. I knew and I still know what goes on in the streets. Everybody's probably got a family member if you grew up in the hood that has been in the streets, cousins, uncles, whatever. So you know what they're doing. And they've actually saved me from, getting in the streets. And I actually tried to get in the streets a couple times. Now, one time I tried to get in the streets because I was broke as hell. Both times it was the case. I was broke as hell. I wasn't getting much support from my family, and I just felt like I had the weight of the world on me, and I kept getting fired from these ridiculous jobs. I couldn't hold a job. I could barely pay my rent. So one job I was actually at, uh, this dude I knew he did his thing, and we were talking about it, and I started asking him questions. You should get braids and jewelry. No, thank you. I've had braids before, but and who asked me that? Tony. Anyways, so what I did was, nah, man, I'm not gonna do that. But what I did was I started asking him about, what he did, which I already knew what he did, but I was asking him how to, to break it down and how he did it. So he started telling me, and I was like, and so we made a plan. Like he's like, yo, I'll get you into it. What was the best place you lived in? The best place I lived in? Ah, shoot. The best city I lived in? It depends on what you're looking for. For the market, the best place I lived in for the money is where I live in now. The best place I lived in for the females is probably going to be Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for the females. For the weather, it's going to be Atlanta. Atlanta's the best place. For racism and not being called a racist word, it's going to be Germany. So all depends. So if you want, you don't want nobody to mess with you, go to Germany. They don't mess with you over there. They're not racist against you. They just don't talk to you. Anyways, back to this story. So me and him was gonna meet up the next day, and mind you, we worked together, and I never saw that dude again. He never came to work. Never heard from him again. And I think that was just God's way of saying that the streets ain't for you, and the streets aren't for me. But listen, if something happened around here to somebody I knew and I cared about, I'm gonna snitch. I'm gonna tell who did it because I'm not from I'm not from the streets. I'm from the hood, but I'm not from the streets. I am going to be like this person did it if you did something to somebody I care about. Now, if somebody I care about went out and did something wrong and then they got retaliation, that was in inexactitude. If you go out and punch somebody in the face and some dude comes and punches you in the face, I'm not saying a word. That's not my business. I live in Ohio. Yeah, I live in Ohio. Yeah, I'm not going to say a word. You got punched in the face. That was a street fight. They didn't, bring out any weapons or nothing. You hit them, they hit you. That's not my business. You deserved it. You get it how you live. But as far as something bad happening to somebody I think that didn't deserve it over here and I care about them, yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, this person did this. And that's just that. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to get into somebody's business. And see, I think that the whole stop snitching thing is street code. If you see, I'm what you call soft. Yeah, Columbus. I'm what you call soft. And soft doesn't mean that you're a punk. Soft means that you're on the curb. You're not in the streets. I'm on the curb. I was a 9 to 5 dude, even though I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? I get my hustle on, but it's all legal hustle. I flip a refrigerator or something to make a couple dollars. So I don't get into the streets. I let the streets do them because it's not what I am. Because I'm aware of what they do. So I'm just saying, and like everybody's got an opinion of snitching and stop snitching. Don't do that. If you see something, say something. If you think that it should be said. Listen, there was some drug dealers that came into this area, and when they came in this area, they went out one night and they came back, and the car that they had was all shot up. And I went over and I saw a dude, and I was just like, "You're gonna have to remove that car." Now I'm not the police. I'm not neighborhood watch, but I am. I do live in this neighborhood, so I'll say something to somebody if I think it's going to affect the kids. And we had a bunch of kids that lived here at this time. They all are gone. As a matter of fact, the last of them just left. There's only a couple left, but those kids at that age, they're all gone. So I was like, we got a bunch of kids here, and they don't need to see that, man. I said, go ahead and remove it. He was like, I ain't getting a gunfight or nothing. But the car was all shot up. They were out of here in no time. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say something like that. Now we got some people around here that they do their thing, but it doesn't bother children. And that's where it gets me. If I think one of these kids is gonna be in trouble, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say something to you, buddy. And that's just that. I'm gonna come to you like a man and be like, listen, bro, you see these children around here? Come on, bro. Like you, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, do your dirt. But this right here, man, we protecting this right here. So go over there and do your dirt. And that's usually what happened. I ain't got to go out and fight with anybody to make something happen. I just speak to them like a man and say, listen, we protecting this. Go ahead over there and do your dirt, and that's usually what happened. So you guys gotta understand that people who with the whole street code, let them be in the streets. If you're not in the streets like that, leave that whole thing alone. I'm thinking about moving to Ohio. What do you think of Akron or Mansfield? I think Mansfield is small. I think Akron is small. Akron used to be a drug infested. That when I say I was gonna meet up with this dude, we lived in Akron at that time, and everybody was doing it. They were all running around with these big beepers, until one day the feds and the local police came through and shut the whole thing down. But the way they did it though, they did it in one fell swoop. It was like the governor or the mayor just finally had it with the drug dealers, because it was a competition for the drug dealers in Akron to show off who could be the biggest, baddest drug dealers. And I've gotten into it with one of them where I probably would have lost my life. But and that's the thing. Like we were at a club, and they were playing pool, and one of them accidentally bumped into me with the pool stick, and I just moved. And he looked at me, I looked at him, and then him and his two boys was waiting outside for me. But he didn't know that I had four guys with me, so we all came out. And they just looked at me, we looked at them, and they went on about their way. They were outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? But if I was by myself, it would have been on. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of mentality right there was going on all in Akron. You had a lot of people who were, getting snuffed out. People were getting beat up, and there were things happening back. This is back when I was 25. Actually I was 23. So it was going down in Akron back then. So all in one fell swoop, they had enough. Uh, Beepers were a thing back then, so they had enough of it. And the local police teamed up with the feds and came and got all of those guys out of there. I mean, they swept the whole city and started raiding clubs because they knew where all the drug dealers hung out. See, the drug dealers back then would go and get their cars, right? The cars, and then they would fix up their cars to with the rims and the loud sound, and Well, I don't think any city is clean. Not unless you're going out to. I mean, I don't know of any major city, any major port that's clean because now the drug game is changed. Because when I was in Pittsburgh, it's the same thing used to happen. The dudes would roll around in the in Humvees and and paint them pink. We actually had a guy named Pink, and that's what they did. They were loud and boisterous, and then 5 just came and snatched them off the street. Like we know what you're doing. You're advertising what you're doing, and they would have the loudest music, and I never understood that why you would snitch on yourself like that. But that's what a lot of these dealers did back in the day. But the drug game has changed now. You don't know who's doing it, and you got mom and pop and grandma in on it now. It's just totally different. It ain't the young people that's necessarily the only ones in it. You got all kind of people who are in it. So to say that an area is clean, I highly doubt it. As long as there's taxes, there's always going to be somebody who's going to try to get around them. As long as there's somebody willing to put something in their arm, in their leg, in their nose, anywhere that they can get it to get that high, you know, poor, mindless, and empty pockets. Nasty. As long as there's somebody willing to get high off of something. Look, you had a craze recently that people were getting high off of bed bugs. People would get high off of anything. Off of bed bugs? This is like what? People were doing it. But it's better now than it was 3 years ago. Well, I didn't live in Akron 3 years ago. I lived in Akron almost, 28, 29. Some is a long time ago. I'm 52 years old, so I've done a lot of living. Okay. I lived there a long time ago, man. I was 20. I came here when I was 24. So I lived there a long time ago, brother. And I came here from Akron. So, but here's what I say to anybody: go visit. Like Atlanta, like the weather. I love the weather in Atlanta. Loved it. Like I said, I wouldn't mind settling in Kennesaw. I'm saying if I could afford it, but right now I can't afford it. So you gotta go somewhere. Sometimes you just gotta go and land. Sometimes you just gotta go, or you gotta go and visit for a couple of weeks. Look around, get on the internet, and find out all the information. You gotta understand when I was doing all this, you couldn't just look it up on the internet. You had to actually go and run in and out of the city and start getting to meeting people, hoping you had family there. Fortunate for me, coming from Pittsburgh, I had family that lived in Akron. My dad lived there, so I lived with him. Then I moved out and stayed on my own. So when I went to Atlanta, I lived with my sister. Then I moved out and stayed on my own. So if you're gonna experience these places, I say have a game plan. You know, have a game plan. Get all the information that you can. Go visit a couple times. Get to know where to go and where not to go. Because if you're hanging out on the wrong end of town, you're gonna get into something you don't want to get into. You're going to. You know what I'm saying? When I lived in Atlanta, I traveled on my own around Atlanta, but I didn't go into the zones where you could get like it was notorious for getting knocked in the head. I didn't. I did a lot of walking. I rode my bike. I didn't have a vehicle, but I only went to places that I felt comfortable. I did, and I did a lot of traveling during the day. I didn't do a lot of traveling during the night. Other than going to work and coming home. So like I said, I'm from the hood, but I'm not from the streets. I don't do things that street dudes and girls do or women do. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But I understand it. What are good legal options? I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question, Tony. Good legal options for what? Where are you coming from anyway, Sh- Chameleon? Chameleon, are you a guy? Chameleon? Yeah, are you a guy, Chameleon? Because if you're a guy, especially a young guy, things are San Diego. Yes, you're a dude. Okay, okay, San Diego. If you're a young guy, you know what I'm saying? It's easier to do. It's just easier to travel. Keep your wits about you. Go into a couple. You know, go into a couple clubs that you hear about. Just go in. That's what I did. Oh, yes, it's cheaper here. Okay, you got a wife and kids. Well, that changes everything. You're not traveling alone. Okay, well, you got a wife and kids. You're probably in your 30s, maybe, 40s. Uh, San Diego's a long way to go, too. Um, yeah, I try to give it to you real. I don't do anything fake. I don't really have any I have no reason to give you a fake perspective. I try to give you the you must be coming from my Why I Left Atlanta videos. Uh if I was man, okay, it depends on how old my kids are. You don't need to give that information. But here's what I would do if I was looking to move somewhere else and I had a wife. You guys probably got two different jobs. You might even have land out there. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's a whole scenario that goes with that. And you got two kids. You got kids. Oh, how many kids you got? You got to take those kids out of school. They're not going to be friends. Their friends are going to be long distance now. They got to make new friends, which is always a bummer. You know, in some cases, some kids are okay with that. Some are not. You got the cat, the dog, and all that other good stuff too. So, I don't know if you're going to load up the minivan and come out. I don't know if you're going to, hire a mover. Opinions with less labor with good money. Options, opinions with less labor with good money. I still don't know what you're talking about. But here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. If I could, if I could, I would, especially if you have family nearby, I would have a babysitter, somebody in your family you trust, have a babysitter for maybe a week. Take 3 days, maybe a week. Maybe, a long weekend. And I would fly out. I would gather a bunch of information of where I want to go. I pick my 5 places. Then I would, narrow the places down. And then I would look on the internet, get as much information I can, and then I would pick 2 places that I want to eventually fly out to within that year. That's what I would do. I would say on this date, and don't pick when it's cold. Pick when it's warm. It's May. We're gonna make this trip on, the 20th or whatever the weekend is. It's a long weekend, 3 days or whatever. Pick a very good time for both of you to do it. Make a plan, plan on it. Plan on it. Don't just do it. And then go, fly out to and then have it all mapped out where you want to go and where you don't want to go. Listen to videos on living in that area because you're going to find videos on everything now. And when you do, you're going to see the city parts, then you're going to see the rural parts. and you're going to hear people talk about what's good, what's bad. They're going to talk about the hoods. They're going to talk about the worst places to go, the best places to go. You gather all that information and write it down. You know what I'm saying? What street they're talking about. This is where I don't want to go. You know what I'm saying? This is where I don't want to live. Then you look at the housing, look at the market. Everything is online, so you can tell how much rent is. In between $700 and right now 2,000 for an apartment. If you're looking to live downtown, you're looking at 2 G's. Yeah, right now, if you go further out further out in any direction, northeast, south, and west. If you go north, it's the same. It's expensive up north, and you keep going all the way to 270 and past 270. It's all expensive up there. When you head south, it gets cheaper. It gets cheaper. When you head west, it gets cheaper. Not until you hit Hilliard. That's northwest. But mostly west. Hilliard has some really nice places to live. But once you get past, yeah, Columbus is booming. Columbus is booming. But once you get past Hilliard, it's all farm. You're running into farm country. Legal opinions with less labor, with good money, a substitute. Drug. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. But legal options with less labor, with good money, a substitute of drug dealing. You mean becoming a lawyer? There are all kind of substitutes. I never got into drug dealing. I was saved from it, but the Lord knew I was having a hard time, and I was like, "You got to help me." I've been poor all my life. You know what I'm saying? Even though I worked, I never made a lot of money, but I'm one of those people who don't need a lot of money. I never did. Uh, it's just no need for me to have a lot of money. It's just really no need. I don't really need it. I just need to be able to cover my bills and not sweat over, am I going to be able to eat and stuff. And I'm usually good if I can, I'm in a position now if I want to get on a plane and go somewhere, I can do it and not be afraid to be broke. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to get up every day and go to work. As a matter of fact, I don't have to get up and go to work at all. But, every now and then I get up and do something because, that's just my nature. I've been working all my life since I was 14. So I still like to get up and try to do something, but then my back will tell me you can't do that anymore. So then I'll sit my behind down, you know what I'm saying? But I'll still get up and try to handle something. It is what it is. But I don't sit on my butt all day, every day, and not do anything. So I get it every now and then. I get out there and I gotta, tussle with something. I'm still a strong dude. You know what I'm saying? And I like being strong. So, but yeah, that's what I would do. I would get on a plane, pick the two places you want to go, pick one fiscal year, make plans around it. Be smart about your choice. And if it helps, try to get to see if you know somebody in that area that can show you around because there are people who will. I mean, if you came here and you told me, I'll show you around. If you came to Columbus, Ohio, and you were like, Tone, I want you to show me around, I will show you around. But mind you, I'm not a street dude. I know where the hoods are, but I don't mess around in those hoods. I don't. So if you're that, and you don't sound like that type of person, but with the little hustle stuff I do now, what's a good thing is right now I can tell you where to buy a house. I mean, you can go online and look at places where to buy a house or where to get an apartment, but I'm actually in these houses. I go in and I know these landlords. I know the people buying these houses. I know the people, places for rent. Thanks. One more. Well, you can have as many questions as you want. I'm okay. Uh, what type of business do you think would work well in Columbus? Well, right now, the housing market is. You want to make some money? Go out here and buy get a house and flip it. Where would I buy a house? Depends on your budget. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Columbus is building and it's expanding by the second. It has changed so much here; it's ridiculous. So if you want to get in on something, yeah, get in on the housing market, because people are buying a property out here at light speed. I mean, I was dealing with this one landlord, and he had just bought this property. And then he called me back not even a month later, and he was like, "Yeah, I just bought some more property. I'm gonna need your help." Like, this dude is, and then I talked to somebody he knew. He was like, "This guy's got property all over the country." Hey, Lady G, how are you? I've been hanging in there. I've been a little under the weather lately, but you know, I'm hanging in there. I got my water. You know, how you been? Everything all right with you? You all good down there in the AT real? You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, bro. Get in the housing market. As far as I listen, I tell anybody, if you're gonna get in, if you're gonna work, okay. All right, let's talk about working. Let's talk about working here. What works here? Working here. If you're looking for a 9 to 5, if you are a traditional person and you can handle that lifestyle, the supreme job that you want to get on here in Columbus, Ohio is the state. It is the state of Ohio. And there's so many reasons for that. One, this is the capital of Ohio. Two, if you get in the state, you can go from uh, uh, one entity to the other. So if you work for the Bureau of Workmen's Comp and you decided you wanted to work for the Department of Health, boom, you can slide right over to the Department of Health, easier than it would be for somebody coming from the outside to get into the state. It's a little harder to get into the state, but nonetheless, the state is the main aim. Their jobs are they have great pay, great jobs. So yeah, so the county doesn't pay as much, and the city doesn't pay as much. The state pays the most, and there are different breed of people. They're very, very, and they think they're entitled. I was just talking to my neighbor. She works for the state. She was like, "Those people think that they're entitled." I was like, "I used to work for a state, and I watched the whole floor get fired at once." But that's because a governor ripped us off of $20 million. So the state is where you want to go. As far as outside of that, anything in healthcare, anything in healthcare. If you're a 9 to 5er, but healthcare also got its hustle side too. You know what I'm saying? But if you're somebody, you got a family, so you want a 9 to 5 it to get home with the wife and kids and take everything. I understand that. That is what you want to do. That's the best route to go, actually, because if you live like a lot of people I know, they're hustlers, man. They'll get out there and they're fixing things and they're moving people. The customer pretty much sets your schedule. You're fixing refrigerators and stoves. Uh, you're fixing, siding and roofs and stuff like that. The customer depicts when you're going to be working and when you're not, and what time, because they can call you in the middle of the night. My phone will blow up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll start getting hits off of these websites telling me that want to negotiate a price with me. Happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm as busy as I want to be. For what I do. If I want to get more busy, I go out and find more stuff to flip. And then I get more busy, but that's more backache for me. So, I have to slow down. But as far as the wife and kids, you know, I would say, not everybody's going to get in the state, but if you're going to work the 9 to 5, the insurance game is heavy out here. Children's Hospital, and they're owned by Nationwide. You work for Nationwide, buddy. You got to understand that, this is an at will state too. They'll fire you just because they want to, but this is an at will state. So, but those are where the good jobs are. And I know some people who got master's degree who used to work for Nationwide got fired one day. Just boom, fired. So you still got to keep that hustle in your back pocket. Because when people think that all your bread and butter come from one place, they tend to treat you different. They might try to talk to you sideways one day because you scared you're gonna lose your job. So, but if you got yourself a few incomes and your main income is just a third of it, you know what I'm saying, and you're doing you on the outside getting money. Like I know this dude who was a janitor, he probably still is for the state, right? Janitor. That's why I'll never look at the janitor crazy. Never. Dude was a janitor, right? And he's every day he come through pushing his cart, happy, just happy as he want to be, talking to everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing? Everybody cool? Yeah, everybody cool. And I was like, that's a happy dude to be like, the man's happy because he owns property. They was like, that dude probably make more money than all of us because he was smart. He took his base job and was like, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go out and buy some property, and then I'm gonna, rent to folks, and that's what he does. I got a homeboy that does the same thing. He went out in the same hood he lived in. He was like, forget that. I'm gonna go and buy these, because there's mad opportunity to buy property now. So he's like, shoot, I'm just gonna go and get a loan. They're gonna give you a loan because the area is growing so much. So they gave old boy a loan, and he just was like, boom, I'm gonna fix up this place here. And I was like, yo, this is nice, man. What you do? Took out a loan. He was like, yep, took out a loan, start renting out, boom. Oh, that's what you do too, property? Oh, you got me on TV now? That's what's up. What up, TV? Your boy. That's what's up. But yeah, so I'm letting you know now. As far as the economy, this is one of the best places to live. As far as the economy, like you cannot go wrong here. You cannot go wrong. It's got as good, it's got as bad, but you're not gonna go wrong when it comes to the economy. You're gonna come here, you're gonna make some money, especially if you flip. If you flip houses, you do any of that stuff, man. It's just how much is a good house? Once again, depending on what side of town you live, but let me give you some ideas. Let me give you some ideas as far as rental. Let's do that. Oh, wait a minute. So you're flipping houses, right? So you're gonna buy in for flip houses. I've seen some, 30, 40,000. These landlords will tell me these people live in these areas that were drug infested at one time. Well, they're kicking all those people out because what's happening is the city is coming along and saying, yeah, you own this house, but it's dilapidated and boarded up. And okay, and what they're telling them is this is a whole nother video actually, but I'll speak it on anyway. But I'm gonna make an actual video about this. But what they're telling the people is they're going, you need to pay the taxes on this house or you're getting evicted. Now that's good and bad because these people own the house, they're getting kicked out of the house. But some of those people aren't trying to pay the taxes. They're not there to benefit, to bring the area up. And that's what the city has figured out. They have gone into these hoods. Listen, about 20 years ago, there was a, and this has happened twice since I've been here. So when I first got here, I was 24. I lived in a place they called Uzi Alley, right? Uzi, and I'm gonna get to the rentals and stuff. I'm just gonna make these stories short, but I'm trying to give you a perspective of what Columbus is doing. So I used to live in Uzi Alley. You know what I'm saying? Going to work for temporary service, trying to live day by day. Well, Uzi Alley is no longer there. There was a bunch of apartments, and I called it Uzi Alley because of the drug dealer that lived there was named Uzi. So, and he would shoot people up. But that whole area has been torn down. There's a brand new school there for black kids. And it's nice now. 20 years ago, there was a group of drug dealers called the Short North Posse. Well, the Short North is right next to Ohio State, like right next to it. So they were like, we're tired of our students, fearing living in the Short North and going into the Short North. And the Short North Posse was actually ran by a woman. So one day, the whole city of Columbus police force poured into the Short North. They just poured into the Short North and arrested anybody who had to do with the Short North Posse. They arrested hundreds of people. It was a huge, huge, huge posse, and they just had enough of their stuff. They're just like, we're done. Went up in the Short North and raided everything, and that was the end of the Short North Posse. So those areas are now a lot safer to go into. Now, as far as the rent is concerned, you have the place where I live. Well, I'm gonna go north, east, south, and west. Right. I'm gonna go short, north, east, south, and west, and then I'll go mid, and then I'll go far north, east, south, and west. All right. So if you're going short and you're going north, you're gonna head right into Ohio State. That's right off of Fifth Avenue. That area from downtown to Lane Avenue, that is pretty much what we call the short north. It's very short distance, short north. It's probably the span of, let's see, I used to actually run it, so I think it's like 2 miles from like Lane Avenue, maybe down to downtown. So it's in between maybe 2.5 miles, something like. No, it's a little further than that. I think it's like 3 miles. Anyways, so just that distance alone, you have so many apartments that have gone up. They have torn whole buildings down and put up a bunch of apartments, all in that area. Those places, you're looking at $1,000 and up just to rent, just to rent. And if you're downtown, you're looking at around 2,000. And they're nice places and all, but they are really expensive to live in. And for Columbus, nah, we don't even have our own sports team, professional. You believe in zodiac signs and aliens? I believe aliens existed, always have been. So when you go far north, you keep going, just from Lane Avenue, you start getting into houses. So there are a lot of houses in that area if you're heading up High Street. You start getting into a lot of nice houses. And the further you go up 23, which is High Street, the more expensive houses that you see. So you go from easily from 150,000 shoot right up to 300,000 real quick. And those houses are growing in value every day. Every day. I just talked to a guy and he was like, when I bought this house, it was 256,000. Right now, it's $100,000 more. So the area is gaining constantly because there's constant growth. All right, there used to be a city center mall. They tore that down. All right, and in that area they have a big old park, but they're building up Columbus so much. Every day I go down there, there's something different. There's apartments all over the place. Now, when you start heading west from downtown, you start heading west. You're gonna start heading west, and you'll head towards an area within about 5 miles. It's called the Hilltop. But as soon as you in the short west, as soon as you start heading west, you're gonna see Kosai. When you go past Kosai, you're gonna see pretty much nothing. You're not gonna see once you get past Kosai. It's the area is there used to be car dealerships in there. That's all torn down. They're all gone. There's a hospital over there, but that's about it. And from there all the way up, from there to where 70 starts, it's a very poor area. It's a very poor area. It's white poor. It's not black poor. Well, it's a mixed neighborhood poor, but it's known mostly for white poor. So you're going over there off of Sullivan, and in those area are drug infested, poor places, but there's still houses there. But here's the thing: the people over there that have used those drugs and did all those crimes over there, they're getting rid of all those people. And those are the houses that are being bought up. And you know who's buying those houses? The Latinos. The Latinos are buying those houses. And they're fixing them up and kicking all the white people out. All the poor white people that live there, getting rid of them. Because the city is doing it. So, I mean, you still got crime over there, but within the next 10 years, all of those people over there are going to be gone. All of them. So when you head up to the Hilltop, you already know what it is. It's rough over there in the Hilltop. It is. Uh, you got it. I mean, that whole area, all the way till you get to 270, it's just a rough area. But if you're gonna buy a house now, and you're gonna be looking to, let's say this, if you're gonna buy a $60,000 house and you're looking to flip it in the next 2 or 3 years, you want to go to the west side. Just wait for it. If you got foresight and you can wait, go to the west side. It's going to be a little rough, but you'll be all right. You'll make some money. Now, if you're going to go to, it doesn't get any better until you hit past 270. That's when you start to get into some nicer houses. Now, if you're going east, the short east side, you're going to hit, if you're on Broad Street, they're building that up. If you hit Oak Street, I used to live on Oak. A lot of bad things used to happen on Oak Street. Not anymore. All the white people came and kicked all the black people out of that area. So Oak Street is nice now. It's crazy because it doesn't even look the same. But the thing about it is, a lot of the homosexuals live right on Brighton. So Oak and Brighton run adjacent to each other, right off of Parsons Avenue. So if you're going down Parsons, you're heading south. But if you're on Broad Street, you keep heading east, you're gonna find some nice houses there. Uh, Long Street is where the hood is, where the black people, the black hood is. So they're changing things in that area too. You know what I'm saying? Things are getting better there. So you can buy a house over there and you're going to do good. Because there are a lot of houses over there that people are buying. My friend bought a house over there. People are buying, and all the craziness that was in that area is leaving. And all the good people who just want a stable life and are not all in the nutso stuff, they're living there and they're buying homes there. And because they know they know once Children's Hospital was built. See, what Children's Hospital did was it came down and it took over the old OSU hospital, tore the whole thing down, built a brand new hospital, Children's Hospital, right? Then when they did that, they tore a bunch of other buildings down, moved all those people out, got rid of them, built a garage there for their employees. Then they took the African American school and said, you know what? We'll make a deal with y'all. If we can buy this land from you, We'll build you a brand new school and a brand new track because the African American school had built a brand new track. So they were just like, we just, we're just now building this track. We don't want to get rid of it. And they said, we'll build you another track. Very nice. We'll build you a, state of the art, yada, yada, yada. And that's exactly what they did. They built them a brand new, beautiful school in the old Uzi Alley. That's why I was telling you about Uzi Alley. All those buildings are gone. They tore down all the trees and over there. It's a beautiful manicured place, and they built a brand new Afrocentric school, brand new track. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's next to the VA hospital. So, and then they have apartments and stuff over there. So, as far as the pricing is concerned, your most your most expensive pricing is going to be in Bexley. You're looking at $1 million homes in Bexley. That is on the east side after Nelson. As soon as you get it from Nelson, you're in Bexley. The girls' private school is there where all the little white Jewish girls go to. That school's there. That's Bexley. All the doctors, lawyers, and politicians, that's Bexley. It's a Jewish community mostly. You got German Village. That's also on the east side. It looks like a German village. Those are very expensive houses there, but they're very small and they're right next to each other. They spend $300,000-$400,000 to live in a two-bedroom just because it's German village. And there's people who've had those homes there for 30 years. They're not going nowhere. And it is brick and cobblestone and all that stuff. It's beautiful. So you have an expensive area there. Looking at the west side, like I said, you can go over there and get a house in between 40 and 60,000. Flip that house in about 5 years, it's gonna be worth 150 or more. I'm just telling you. If you're gonna head north, you automatically run into expensive houses. A lot of that area used to be a lot of bums begging the kids for money, you know. But what they did was they got rid of the bums because they said, if we see you out here, we know that you're not paying taxes. So we're going to put you in jail for tax evasion. And that's what they started doing. They got the bums for tax evasion. You know what I'm saying? So they got rid of all the beggars and they fixed up all that area. So if you're going to head north, if you're looking to buy a home and you head north, there's just some beautiful areas up north, man. And those houses been established for a long time. So good luck finding one up there because it's gonna run you in the threes. I'm just telling you to get a nice. Listen, off of Whittier, which is near downtown. It's not that far from downtown. There's a lady I know who built a house there. She did everything to this house. She's selling it for $260,000 off of Whittier, and we're like, what? Not to mention, you're an old white lady. There ain't no old white women here. Why is the next door neighbor a white lady too? So you're seeing all these white people live in the neighborhoods that black people used to live in. And like I said, she priced that house at 260. I'm just like, at 260? House brand new. I don't know if she sold it yet, but she priced it at 260. So it gives you an idea, like for the people who've been here a minute, it gives you an idea like, yo, there's money out here. And she even told me, she said, listen, I sold two houses. I made so much money off of that. I decided to go in debt with this one. I think she went a little over her head. I wouldn't have went 260 on a brand new house off of Whittier. Actually, she's off of Livingston and I forgot what street it is, but that's still the hood. I mean, I saw her walking down the street. I was just like, you just don't see this. Not off of Livingston. You don't, man, let me tell you, off of Livingston, which is close to town, it's not far from town. Off of Livingston, the hood, it was so notorious that what the hood did every summer is the drug dealers would come out and block traffic. And they would show off their cars by creeping down the Livingston real slow and playing the music loud. It was like one big block party. And the police finally got tired of it. So what they did was the police would go and park their cars right and block traffic and pop the hood and act like something was wrong with their car just to stop them from parading up and down the street. Also on Long Street, which is very close to town. Actually, it's not far from Columbus State. They used to have a block party there and have the world's largest electric slide. I don't know why they was doing that, but everybody get out there and have fun. Vendors, they don't do that no more. Cops stopped all that. They stopped all that. They used to have what we called homecoming. A bunch of people come and then they go downtown Columbus and they drive their cars from the courthouse all the way up to Fifth Avenue. Police stopped all that. All the things that black people celebrated, we don't do that anymore here. Cops stopped all of it. But the hood had their own celebration. They come out in the summer and do their thing with their little drug dealer car. Cops stopped all that. So now Livingston is being brought up all because Nationwide built a hospital right there on Parsons and Main Street, right off of Parsons and Main. And once they did that, all the people, they don't want a long commute. So what are they going to do? They're going to buy houses in that area. And once and now you have everybody in a feeding frenzy to get these loans just to buy a house there, just so they can flip the house or keep the house. So that's the market within within 5 miles, within 5 miles of downtown. And I mean that's not even nationwide. Is that hospital is walking? I used to live, close to there, so I could walk downtown. That's not even 5 miles. That's not even close. Yeah, well, I'll repeat some of this information. What I mean, if you want to know. But like I said, there's one thing of looking up what the housing market is, and there's another thing talking to somebody who is in and out of these people's apartments. You know what I'm saying? I'm in and out of these homes, so I didn't seen homes that were roaches and whatnot all over the place, and poor houses, and going to houses that are just built brand new. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And this is it could be one way one day, the next day because I have customers all over the place. So the average rent right now, let me tell you the least average. Let's go with the least average rent. Go with the least average rent. You'd be looking at $700. That's the least average rent. This is a two-bedroom. This is a one-bedroom. That's a one-bedroom. That's the least average. There's very few people under that. I don't even. It's hard to find something for five. You can find an efficiency maybe for 500, but that's gonna be hard. A one-bedroom, 700. One floor. One floor. Two-bedroom, you be jumping to nine real quick, and that depends on where you're at. Now, if you start moving out further east and you go into Gahanna, oh, have mercy. Have mercy. You're looking at 13, 1400 instantly. Gahanna don't play on no level. The houses out there are beautiful, but it's a white area. But if you go further east, past Gahanna, on Broad Street, you go further east, you go into an area called, is that past Gahanna? Well, Gahanna is northeast. But if you go southeast, you go into Blacklick. Now, Blacklick is a mixed neighborhood. You'll find a lot of people from India that live there. They're all mostly houses. They got apartments, but as far as houses is concerned, you can get a 220, 230. You can come up. You can come up real good. You know what I'm saying? You can come up real good in out in Blacklick, and they're always flipping houses out there. If let me put it to you like this: if I had good credit, and I'm trying to think about a mind state of somebody's gonna flip. If I had good credit and I knew how to flip, and I had at least 20 G's in my pocket, and I came to Columbus, I would head towards Blacklick. And I'm going to tell you why. One, it's not a drug infested area. So you don't have to worry about the same thing the lady does who's trying to flip on Livingston. She's got to she's got to wait till she's going to make that money. She might have sold the house, but you still got it's still a rough area off of Livingston. It is. Still a rough area. Black Lake, not so much. Black Lake is families. Family, houses, family. So when you talk about that traditional American family, Black Lake. Mixed neighborhood, because you got your white neighborhood, Gahanna, mostly white. Bexley, pretty much all white. And when I say a white neighborhood, I mean the people who own the houses and have owned them for years. I don't mean people coming in and out and living in apartments. That's not what I'm saying. I mean people who own real estate there. Bexley is a white Jewish neighborhood. And that's it, and that's all. It's probably the richest neighborhood in Columbus. That's it, and that's all. Okay? But when you go to Blacklick, you're going to see a lot of black families got money. You're going to see, you're just going to see a lot of mixed people from India, people from, Israel, and, what I'm saying, Middle Eastern people living right next to, white, black, and it's such a collage of color that is in Bexley. It's the perfect place to buy a house if you have a family because there's no craziness going on out there. Everybody's just trying to live their life. Uh, you're not going to have this whole race issues where, oh, I don't like you because you're this color. If people feel that way, then Blacklick is the wrong place to be because your kids are going to be riding their bike right alongside about five, six different races easily every day. It just is what it is. So if that's how you feel, don't buy a house here because you're not going to come out here and say this is a Latino neighborhood. Oh, no, buddy. That's not going to happen. Not at all. So you got that energy going on out there. So if I was going to pick a prime place, yeah, with a family, wife, and when I say wife, let me say, and I don't mean wife on rocky ground. Let me get into that for a second. I don't mean you. When I say wife, like I don't like. Let me try to put this to you like this. I mean, like your wife is like you guys are like down, like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in with you. I'm financially in with you because you got a lot of weird situations. I mean, if you're solid and you two are ready to put down that money and get it in, going to Bexley. Now, I got a friend, and I had to establish that because, you just got some weird situations where you're just like, I don't know how long we're going to be together. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't roll up in the backseat if you don't know how long you're going to be together. One person's going to be, no, don't do that. You'll be downsizing real quick. But I'm talking about if you got a good family, go on into Bexley, man. Go on into Bexley. Good schools. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to figure out where else is a good place. Hilliard. Going up to Hilliard, man. You going up to Hilliard. But I done sold a refrigerator to it. Well, I didn't sell him a refrigerator, but he was interested in one. This guy, he was up in, oh my God, his house. This is just ridiculous how beautiful that damn house was. I just like, damn. I mean, you got some houses, man. It just they're a $500,000. And like I said, I deal with all of them because a lot of them are landlords. You just don't know that they're landlords. But his house had to be $500,000, and all the houses in that neighborhood look the same. It was just gorgeous. But I ain't got $500,000 be spending on no crib. You know what I'm saying? So if you got it like that, Go on up in the Hilliard and look around. Go into I'll tell you another area you're gonna be looking at half a million. Matter of fact, my friend got a house up there. I ain't talked to him a long time, but he got money. He lives in a place called Powell. And Powell, Ohio is an extension of Gahanna. It's going past Gahanna. It's northeast, but it's more east than north. See, if you go east of Columbus, just a straight shot east, you'll run into Pataskala. Now, if you're somebody who has some land or is looking to buy land, that's a whole different conversation. If you're looking to buy land, you want to go out towards Pataskala. You're going to find some, it's a very rural area. The people there are very serene and everyday white folk. They're just everyday white folk, happy to see you, happy to see you go. Some real cool white folk. That's what you're gonna see in Pataskala. You're gonna see some apartments at first, but as soon as you go out past that line, boom, you're not gonna see nothing but land. You're not gonna see a house. You get past that Kroger's and it's over. You're in Pataskala, baby. And Pataskala is just an open area. But if you're looking to buy some land, head on out to Pataskala. If you're looking to get into, $300,000, $4,000 homes and you're still looking east, go up to Powell. It's a very, it's not a mixed neighborhood. It's a white neighborhood. But every now and then, the only mix that's happening is from people from India moving up in there. Asians might live up in there, but mostly it's white. It's a white area. But these are people who they got their act together. They got their act together. There's a lot of money up in Powell, buddy. Good luck finding a house up there, but it's gonna be expensive. So I don't know what your finances is. I'm not asking. Uh, but I'm saying, so I gave you a rate from houses that cost 40,000 to houses that are gonna run you, you know, 440. So you got the span, you got the lay of the land from north, east, south, and west, from the short areas to the townships that run. I didn't talk that much about south. I wouldn't encourage somebody to go and buy a house south. So if you're on 23 and you head south, 23 runs right through downtown. It's High Street. If you're on 23 and you start heading south, you're gonna run. If you go past the courthouse, yeah, no problem. If you go past, now I'm on the subject. I'm just gonna keep talking about it. If you go past the courthouse, the old courthouse, as soon as you cross over the bridge, you're gonna run into I forgot what district that is. Those people are a little racist down there. But there's a lot of parties and stuff that happen down there, like concerts. Got some stuff going on down there in the summer. So it's not bad. But that Kroger's over there, they're kind of racist. But it's a nice area. But if you keep going, there are some nice houses down there, built like the ones in German Village. Not bad at all. Uh, you know, white neighborhoods. You keep going, it gets worse. It starts going downhill once you get past Whittier maybe. Nah, I don't know my South Streets too good, but once you start heading down to 104, when you get close to 104, the houses are not good. Not well. That's not true. It depends because they're blocked off to good. You could be on a street that's good, and on a street the next street is completely bad. So you got to pick your poison down there. But once you get past 104, it's just you have some houses that are good, some are not good. But in between there, there's a white ghetto there. There's a white ghetto that's drug infested right before 104 hits. So you just kind of, like I said, you got to pick your poison. and it's very industrial. And if you keep heading south, you kind of run into like Frank Road. That's where the jail is. So you got if and you keep heading that way, there are some nice houses there. I've seen some. One guy had a house. It was beautiful. It looked like a Torah Holmes house. It was just gorgeous. But nonetheless, it's a very industrial area. So, it kicks up a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, a lot of smog. There's a lot of factories. The steel mill is there, just to give you an idea. So the steel mill is right off of 23. You can look, it's right off of, the steel mill is off of Parsons. Parsons and 23 run adjacent to each other. They both run north and south. So the steel mill is like right there. So it's just a lot of, dirt and whatnot. Once you get past that, you do have a lot of houses that are established, but those are not high yielding houses. You'd be looking at, you'd probably grab one of those for 120, 130. If that, you could rent a house down there for 700. That just gives you an idea. You could rent a house down there for $700. Rent a whole house. You see what I mean? You see the difference? You go from renting an apartment, one bedroom for 700 to renting a whole house heading south. A whole house for $700 because it's an industrial area, so people struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's still money to be made down there, but I wouldn't go down there and buy a house. uh, because you don't have a lot of people navigating in that direction to look to raise a family. You just don't. Now, if you're leaving town and you're still heading south, you run right into Grove City. Now, that's a whole different story. Grove City Bobcats, that's a different story out there. So, Grove City's lay of the land, I don't know it perfectly because I just go in and out for business. I've never lived there. But you're going to have your full scale of housing and apartments from from what I've seen, from what I've in the houses and apartments I've been into. You have your full scale $30,000 house to I delivered to a lady. She had, and I didn't think her house was going to be that nice according to what she was buying. I got there and I was like, whoa, you shocked me. You know what I'm saying? That thing was beautiful. It was lit up because it was at night too. It was lit up nice. It's gorgeous. So her house had to be, but this is Grove City. I'm going to say maybe 280. Nice neighborhood, manicured. Other houses are matched it. Beautiful. Just gorgeous. So I'm hoping I gave you some idea, with the townships. If you want to learn more, just get on your Google Maps, pick a township, hit me up, and I'll do a video on that township. What I'll actually do, if I'm feeling up to it, I might even go out to that township without being too invasive during the day, and I might go through Grove City, and have a little camera just to show you whatever area that you picked, whether it's Grove City, Pataskala, Blacklick, Powell, or the Hood. Yeah. If you pick a particular hood, I'll even go downtown, and I don't like driving downtown because I don't like the police. But I can show you what's all being built up, and just all the areas within walking distance of downtown, and just give you a short, just do a live video and let you see all of what I'm talking about. Of course, I can't go into every neighborhood. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. But it'll give you an idea, where all the college kids are at, short north. You know what I'm saying? So the money there has already been taken up. Those landlords are well established. They already got their, thing going on. But like I said, hottest areas that are being taken up right now are close to town, but maybe a mile or so out, and they're on the east side, simply because of what Children's Hospital did, and that's it. Children's Hospital is still building. They're building another garage now. I think they're actually building another hospital or something now, and it caused a whole financial storm. That's what it did, and that all came from Nationwide. Nationwide made all that money. It was just like, we're gonna buy out the black neighborhood, and that's exactly what they did. And when they did that, they invited anybody who's got money and ambition and got some grit. You want to come in? We're gonna kick all these people out because they're not going to be able to afford to live here, and all this drug dealing and stuff that they're doing, or just the people who weren't doing drugs, who just lived there, all they're going to go too, because they don't own some of those houses. And the people who do own those houses, they can actually make money. So it's not all bad for the people that live there. It's just the people who are doing a lot of clowning around. It's bad for them. As far as people who were renting there, and the rent has gone ridiculous. They can't afford to live there anymore. So that's kind of bad, because I'm one of those people. I got pushed out. Okay, so I'm one of those people. I'm telling you what I've experienced. So they're pushing people further east. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So there's just a lot of. It all depends on, and I'm curious to. I mean, I don't know what your budget is, but I'm not a realtor. I'm not a realtor. But once you start talking to some of these people, whatever your budget is, they're going to give you the whole lay of the land, because they probably sell all over town, and you'll find out a lot more information. But like I said, I'm the one who's going in and out of these apartments. Like, I know what they look like on the inside. I know what a lot of these houses that are being sold. I know what some realtors are not going to tell you. Because I'm in the house. You know what I'm saying? You might go and you might look around or whatever, but I'll be like, I'm trying to tell you now, the basement floor is uneven. Good luck. I'll let you know right now. I've been inside this house before. You know what I'm saying? I know if it's a rebuild or redo. I know the people who used to live here. I can tell you whether this area was, what the people were like that used to live here. That's something that a realtor is not going to be able to tell you. They're just not, because they don't live in that area. You know what I'm saying? They sell in that area. They don't live there. And a lot of the new people who have bought some of those places and are selling those houses, they're not from there. I'm from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people who lived and died on these blocks. So I can tell you point blank, this is what happened here. This is how it used to go down on Miller and Kelton. This is why Freebus is such a hard place to live. This is Lily Avenue. Now, mind you, all those places I'm talking about, that's not even, all those streets are right next to each other pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And that's right there on Livingston. So why that lady wanted to build a brand new house there, I don't know. I would see, if you were coming into town and you were saying, should I build a brand new house here? I would have been like, no. So if that lady would have asked me before she did it, should I build a brand new house here? I would have told her, absolutely not. Not unless you're in it for the long haul. But if you're looking to flip, like right now, do not build a house here. Don't do it. But if you're looking to flip 5 years from now, absolutely. 100%. You'll make $100,000. You'll make $100,000 if you sit here for 5 years. But if you put that thing up for sale right now, not as much. Just wait. If you're in it for the long haul, live in it. You know what I'm saying? Live in it. Do your thing here and put it back up for sale. You'll make $100,000 easy. No competition. No competition. You'll make 100 G's liquid. So, like I said, there's some things a realtor can't tell you that I can't. There's some things that I don't know because I'm not a realtor that they can tell you that because I don't know how to. I don't know how to sell houses, but I know what the heartbeat of the city is. You got any more questions in that area? Anything else you want me to expand upon? I'll tell you another place to get. If you're gonna head north and you go up to, okay, so if you're gonna head north and you go up to Cleveland Avenue, Cleveland Avenue, yeah, you can also come back to it. Cleveland Avenue, let me tell you something. I delivered a refrigerator, a stove to this guy up on Cleveland, and they live in a duplex. And what I noticed about the duplex, now I delivered to a couple people in the same area. And if you go up 70, if you're downtown and you head up 70, 71, excuse me, 70 runs east and west, 71 runs north and south. So if you head up 71 and you hit Weber Avenue, you get off of Weber and you make a right. All right. If you make a left, you're heading into a well-to-do area. Well, not well-to-do. You're heading into an area where houses can reach 300,000 easy. Probably more than that. You keep going towards High Street, you're gonna run into those. If you're going the other way, you're gonna run into houses that are might be 100,000, maybe. That whole area going towards Cleveland Avenue until you hit Cleveland and past that, you'll be looking at every. And listen, all of those, a lot of those houses are for sale. Want to get into a fourplex for around 200K? There you go. A fourplex is a. Explain what a fourplex is to me. I'm not a housing dude. So, oh no, a fourplex is 4 apartments, right? You gotta like me. I'm not. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy when it comes to knowledge of the houses. I can just tell you the areas. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I sold a refrigerator to a guy who has a fourplex. As a matter of fact, this dude, when I was talking about Pataskala, this guy is right. This guy is in Pataskala right before you head out to no man's land. Because I used to work in Pataskala. Now, this guy owned. No, they were duplexes. But what was interesting about this guy is he bought the duplex, right? He was living in one and then he was renting out the other. And he made his money so fast that he waited until another one opened up because a guy sold it. And as soon as he found out that the guy was selling it, he went to the bank and he was like, I want to buy this. And he was already in a great position. And sooner or later, I think he owns like 3 of them now. I think he owns 3 of them. So there's a bunch of them in that area. He's buying up the whole block. And I know another landlord who did the same thing. His name is Adam. Adam pretty much he bought the whole block, apartment, just bought the whole block. And he was upset because one guy owned one of the duplexes, and he was like, I can't get it from that guy. And Adam's a rich landlord. He's not a struggling, he's not a slub landlord. He's a young, rich dude with a day job, like very smart, rich, millionaire, rich. So, when this guy talks about, what he does, you listen. And, he's a rich man. But as far as a fourplex, I'm trying to think if I ran in any of those. Give me a second to try to think about. I know I have. Okay, yeah, I have. I ran into one of those and I sold a lady a fridge. And here's the thing about those. Each one of those apartments, they're selling as condos. So they were selling that condo within the 260 range, 250 range. It was nice too. She had just redid it. So That was just for that one, and that one was on. That one was north. It was in. I want to say it wasn't Hilliard. It wasn't north. Was it northwest? Ah, I forgot what area it was. Up towards Salt. No, it wasn't towards Sawmill. I forgot what area it was, but it was in a mixed neighborhood that you know, black, white, Asian, Indian, Latino. It was in one of those neighborhoods where people were renting from, but they were either renting or they're buying the condo. So yeah, gives you some information on that. I have. You're gonna have to go to a listing. I know they have listings for this. You're gonna have to really do your research, especially with that price. Let me tell you where you're not gonna be with that price. Let me tell you where you're not gonna be. You're not gonna be downtown. You're not gonna be anywhere near downtown. All those areas are taken up. I'm trying to think about college. No, you're not gonna be anywhere near downtown. Uh, Cleveland Avenue. You might head up that direction, but you're gonna have some ambivalent feelings about that. Blacklick, maybe. That's a toss up, but I don't really know about that. South. Southfield. You don't want to do it on the west side. You just don't. And you don't want to do it on the far south. You're just not going to make your money. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you do it good. Go to any of those areas, on the west side or the far south. You're going to have a high volume of turnover, and you're going to have a headache. And then eventually, if you don't have the patience and the longevity, you're going to get rid of it. You're going to put it up for sale, and you're going to lose money. That's what's going to happen. Because the people who live there now, they're going to pay their rent for a couple months, then they're going to fight with you. They're going to try to establish themselves, and then they're going to try to beat you. And then you're going to end up calling the bailiff and the sheriff's office and spending money to get them kicked out. You're also going to have an infestation issue. So whether it's bed bugs or roaches, pick your poison. You might have both. I'm just telling you. Uh, we're the ideal place for that. Oh, okay. So here's an area. All right. So if you're downtown and you head west, but you're on Fifth Avenue, so this is northwest. If you hit, okay, so if you're on Fifth Avenue, okay, so if you're downtown, you head north on High Street and you hit Fifth Avenue and then you bust a Louis, hit a left. Those areas there, you're going to find what you're looking for. That's where you'll find what you're looking for because they're building up in that area. You might get some college kids because it's not far from OSU. You're still looking at the turnover though, but you're looking at once they get in there, they'll be consistent. So you need that. It's on the bus route, which is good for some people, bad for others. Some people don't like people who live on the bus route, but if you're looking for to land to get people in there quickly, like right now, I need people to fill up these 4 units because you might get some regular family people there and you might get some college students. But if you get some college students, you know when they're leaving. You know what I'm saying? But there are college students that live in that area and there are families that live in that area. So you can make your money. You hit Like I said, go up High Street, Fifth Avenue, make the left. You're gonna find the rec center is gonna be there, Hunter Rec Center, and you go into that area and you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And what's good about that area is if you keep heading west, you run into OSU Hospital. Yeah. So you'll run into, I forgot which street it is, but then you'll run into a really, yeah, you'll run into a really nice, uh, okay, you'll run into, there's a park down there, and it gets busy each year with the festivals. So you can have traffic from that, just from that. You'll see a Goodell Park. So you have that area, right? And it's just a if I was looking for a fourplex for 200K, that's where I would go. Knowing the city, that's where I would go because I know I could land somebody, and I could probably do it for that price, maybe a little more. If in the thing about it is, if you keep heading west, you're still in a beautiful area because that whole area, not if you head, but if you make the right, it's different. You make the right, there aren't any houses. There aren't even any apartments. It goes right into an industrial area, and then it goes into there's I forgot what, there's a big old store that they built there, and it looks nice, but there's not a lot of houses. But like I said, if you make a left on High Street and hit Fifth Avenue, then you keep going. So if you can't find any in that immediate area, and you keep going out, you'll go into an area called shoot. I was just there. I just helped some lady move her stuff out of a salon there. It's a white area, but you'll find a lot of people that live there work for OSU. There's a movie theater there, so a huge movie theater that's there. Very nice shopping area. Target and all that is right there. So it's a real nice area. And if you keep going, if you just keep heading west, you'll just find more of the same. Actually, it gets better, but the price goes up. So just from what I know, your best chance to me for the people that you want, not unless you head out to Blacklick, but if you go up to Powell or if you go out to Hilliard, you might, you might find something in Hilliard. But if you're looking to fill a place up quick and get your money quick, start there. All right? I am going to go ahead and go. And thank you guys for stopping by. Peace. Good luck to you. God bless.